Did you come from far?
Mm-hmm.
Did you come from far?
Say it again?
Did you come from far?
Oh, Young and Finch.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not far.
So decent enough. So what happened with the shuttle?
It was just like, I went 2 stops down and they're like, shuttle. And I was like, yay. The whole fucking Young Street, like, on shuttle, you know?
It's okay.
Yeah.
To Toronto, it's kind of expected.
I know.
No worries.
But I was like, all right. You know, you got to leave your crib like an hour earlier than like, you know, on top of the transportation. So, you know, it is what it is.
Oh, thank you for coming out though. I know it's a Sunday. Sometimes it's hard to leave your house on a Sunday. It can be hard.
I don't mind talking on a Sunday. I don't work on Sundays. But you know, talking is great.
Okay. But thank you again, Ray. You know,
Thanks for having me.
I never know how to say your whole company's name. Like,
oh, I go by Medeio.
Medeio.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I just called you Ray and left it there.
All good. Yeah.
Okay. But thank you again for coming out. We're at the Visionary Arts Studio. We're here today just to have a conversation, really. You know each other from a little bit while back.
That's right.
And when I started this, I just started thinking about, you know, people who, when I've interacted with them, people who I just wanted to kind of get to know more, but also just want to check in on you to see what's going on.
Right. That's right. To
see what you're up to.
100%. Yeah. You know, and it was really dope that we connected. It was like a point where there was like a turn going on. And when we met at the business incubator, so it was like everybody that was there was like ready to make a turn or something change in their life. So, you know, it's awesome to reconnect with people and see, you know, how's everybody doing? And, you know, a lot of retreats have this thing where like everybody gets emotionally impacted and we're like, let's get in touch. And then nobody ever does. Right. So I always really cherish that I connect with people in places and then they keep me in mind, you know, because I do the same. And, you know, I'm really excited that you called me for this.
No, of course. Yeah, that is where we met.
Yeah.
And that's where we first connected. And you're right. It was a turning point. I know that when I started going to the, what you call it, a business incubator.
Yeah.
That's a good word. I like it. When I started going to that, I was kind of in a point in my career where I didn't know what to do next. I was kind of already like hitting like that burnout stage a lot earlier than I thought I was going to. And I was learning a lot of new things, but I didn't know where to put all of the ideas put together. So that place for me was really definitely a turning point. I was able to at least get things down on paper, talk things out, have a whole lot of criticism on it for sure, a whole lot of feedback. But I think that key portion was the support. I think the group definitely, who we connected with and stayed in touch with, it's just real. Like, it's just, okay, what's up?
Yeah.
And you've seen kind of the same people over and over again. Right. Yeah, but it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Reconnecting so far. So can you start by telling us, well, I guess, I don't know, you're from the city of Toronto, you from here or? I don't know. I actually don't know. Are you from the city?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm from the city.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Albania. That's in Eastern Europe. Came here when I was 10 years old. So I've been here for like 20 years.
Right.
I've been in Toronto ever since. In the past few years, I've traveled a bit because of work. And I'm trying to also expand what's my home and trying to make the planet my home. But yes, I am straight up from Toronto. So, yeah.
Do you think being from the city of Toronto has any influence in the work that you do, like your creativity?
Absolutely. I think about it almost like every day where I would be if I was raised, let's say, even back home. I probably wouldn't have even pursued arts, you know? I would have pursued another profession that was easier to make finances with.
That's fair.
The main thing that influenced me in Toronto is that there are so many cultures, and my parents, instead of putting me in like a dominantly Albanian neighborhood where we can speak the same language, they put me in an area of the city where there weren't any. So I had to adapt to Korean culture and adapt to Jamaican culture and adapt to Arabic, different Arab cultures and things like. So basically, by doing that and especially being a youth that's an immigrant, you really want to feel a sense of belonging. So you better learn quick on how these cultures behave and how to behave around these people so you can make some friends. And I didn't know where that was going at the time. I was like, why did we even move here? This place is minus 20 degrees.
Okay.
I gotta like adapt to all these things, right? But now I realized that was the catalyst to my artwork and my the foundation of the resources that helped me get to where I am today. Like if you look at my style, which is calligraphy based, every time I do a mural in public, a Persian person will stop by and be like, I can see my culture. And then like a Japanese person will be like, yeah, like we have certain techniques in our culture.
Yeah, like the way the markings are.
And then like, you know, people like someone that's like from England or Germany will be like, oh yeah, that's Gothic, you know? And like they see their culture in it. And that's all because of the kind of subconsciously, the different influences I've had growing up, you know, just being around like, you know, Cuban block parties and then like Filipino debuts and, you know, like a Chinese wedding, you know what I'm saying? Like you just absorb all those things and it just came to be. And I think like, honestly, now that I think about it, like I am the Toronto style of like calligraphy. Yeah. Like I mix every single culture that there is. Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
That's me.
Confidently. I know. That's why I asked. So I was driving here and I was looking at like all the different people, all the different graffiti, just driving through here and all these like different kind of landmarks. And that's what kind of just prompted my mind to ask you that question. I was just thinking about the interview, obviously. And as I was coming here, I was just seeing all the different things that could be a part of your work. All different kind of cultures, all kind of different people just in the parks, busy, talking, yelling across the street, just a whole lot of movement.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I just thought I asked.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the images that you see, how does that like show up in your art directly? Because from what I've seen so far, you create everything with calligraphy. Like you don't only do like portraits only. I've seen like different types of styles. Like where does that come from and how did you get into doing art?
Yeah. I mean, I was from childhood, like, I knew that I had a hand for drawing. Okay. And, like, it was obviously like art as a career is a very rare thing to pursue. Not many people know many full-time artists and not many people know many art collectors. So it's a very, very niche field. So for the longest time, I was kind of programmed to believe that I'm not going to pursue this because it's very financially dangerous as a choice for life. But it kept tapping me on my shoulder. Like whatever else I tried to pursue, it was just, it didn't suit me. So, I tried many other things. You know, I got into design, which is very close to creativity, different kinds of design. And I was sculpting, high-end decor for like, mansions and, different kinds of, high-end interiors, for example. Okay. And it didn't suit me because I'm like, I want to draw my own thing. I want to do my own thing. So I just took that leap of faith, you know, took many falls and, that was that. And I just realized I have to embrace that I'm a free-spirited person. And with that being said, I have to structure myself in a way where I can safely be free-spirited. So that's where you have to learn about entrepreneurship, learn about certain conducts, putting together the right people around you and making sure you have a good support system, strategizing, things of that nature. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of factors put together.
So do you have any stories about entrepreneurship that kind of highlight those overcoming those lots of falls?
I mean, the same thing happens over and over again with every business. I believe, you know, even when you're at your highest, and if you look at like the most successful businessmen in the world, they still have their falls, you know? Or should I say their challenges? And it's all about just being patient and learning to learn, being resourceful, and you just learn how to handle it better.
Yeah.
Over time, and I mean, the thing is, with great freedom comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, for example, me, I don't have an HR. I don't have a boss that can absorb my pressure.
Mm-hmm.
It all comes to me. So I need to distribute it in the right places where it could all be handled evenly, and then this can be navigated through, right?
I remember a discussion that came up in the workshops that we were in together about creativity and also the state of like your mental health, right? And I think what came up was that it's almost become okay for artists to suffer, right?
Yeah.
It's almost become okay for artists or creatives to kind of have maybe, I don't want to say like their lifestyles not to be settled, right? Like
right.
It's kind of come okay. So how have you been able to maybe avoid that, or what tools have you taken along with you?
First of all, I think that artists struggle because education has failed them.
Yeah.
Like they don't understand how creative minds work and how they're structured and how they perform. And they don't also teach them how to prepare to create that space for themselves to be creative and still have stability, and have a place of like safety and consistency. So you have to look outside the box and have the right mentors and the right support systems that understand you for who you are and help you leverage your skill set instead of trying to sweep it aside and doing something else.
Like forcing you into even almost like routines, right?
And also it's like, for example, my mind, like, first of all, when I was in high school, I was diagnosed with ADHD, okay? And it was very hard for me to get good grades. Like it took me like so much work to get the grades I needed to get into university, and I hated it. And then it's crazy because now I'm front row at every lecture, raising my hand, taking notes. I'm focusing. I don't mind focusing on something like for 16 hours straight if I have to. And it's like, where did this ADD go? Why was I labeled disabled? You know what I'm saying? When really they just weren't catering to what my skill set was, right? I just believed that I knew. I didn't care about the rock cycle or the Pythagorean theorem, because I knew I'm never going to use
where the water goes.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, I'm never going to use the Pythagorean theorem. Yeah. So, but for someone who's into physics, for example, or other fields, yes, that's useful information, right?
And it's the way that learning is packaged to you too, right? Like it's packaged to you in a textbook usually. It's rote learning.
Right.
It's also people writing on boards.
Right.
They don't give you any manipulatives for you to hold on to while learning. As an ECE, I also understand kind of how participation is not always, I think it's kind of like active learning, right? So we kind of learn that someone is listening, is looking at us the whole entire time. They're doing everything for the social cues, but most children who are creative can give it that to you, but they're not learning anything, right? They can show you that they're listening, but not actually listening.
Exactly. And that's another strategy that they build.
They're children, right? Give them a toy. They're 7, 8 years old. They should be able to learn about whatever you want to teach them about history, whatever, right? But also have their fidget toys, have Play-Doh, create like sensory experiences around learning as well.
Right. And it's like, what I've learned about creativity is that, or creative thinkers, is that they learn things from a lens of integrity. So if it doesn't make sense to them inside and out, and they haven't experienced it, their memory does not absorb it. So some people like to memorize information and they can repeat it, right? Which is like the system of like memorizing and acing a test, right?
Whereas lens of integrity. I've never heard that before. Go.
Yeah. Whereas for me, I'm like, when somebody tries to explain, and especially now in business, it really helps me because I'm like, I don't get it. Instead of being like, oh yeah, you're right. And I remember all the words you said. But if I'm not understanding it inside and out, like my accountant explains everything to me inside and out. I know exactly what he's doing, and everyone else around me. And I experience it myself. I want to try certain things myself so I can learn them. And that's how I can like memorize it, not just here, but like in my body, you know, like it's embedded.
It makes sense.
If it's not embedded, I'm not into it,
Yeah.
you know, and it really helps me now. But back then I was like, oh, well, I'm not good at memorizing, so I'm not capable of operating in society.
Yeah, and then you're labeled.
And
forever.
so many people are labeled when they're really brilliant. It's just they've never been given the chance to pursue the right thing and have the right pieces around them to make things work.
I've always said that the Ontario curriculum for school is really far behind when it comes to
50, 60 years
nurturing
for
young
sure.
people in the way that they're actually learning and preparing them like for the future as well.
Yeah.
So do you have any kind of challenging stories that taught you how to like learning more about yourself, and having a diagnosis of ADHD also sometimes is paired with like the mental health stress of it. How do you manage that as an adult?
Yeah. To be dead honest, like I did a lot of trial and error. I paid attention to a lot of other successful creatives and how they work. There's certain ways to like run your day and certain kind of times to do certain things that help you get creative. And I'd also take notes. Like if I had a great day at the studio, I'm like, what did I do yesterday and the day before that kind of nudged me into this mood? What did I, you know what I mean? Like your setup. So you learn to set yourself up to focus. Like I know how to switch it on to like do a mural right now. Like I'll tell you, like, give me 20, 30 minutes. I need to tune in. I need to do the design. Like I know what it takes, right? Now that's like what you do at the beginning. But what really helped me make a change was when, like, as soon as I got my money up a bit with my business, I got me a therapist. And like, the difference is that they understand your impulses and they understand the way you're wired. So they can really help you pinpoint on how you can function at your best, you know, and help you understand about yourself and to own yourself and master yourself and know that if you're not strong in this place, get somebody else to do that thing so that you can focus on the things you're strong at, you know? What's the point of me doing my accounting? I specialize in art, you know what I'm saying? But it's part of my business, right? What's the point of me doing aggressive marketing? I'm not an extreme extrovert. I'm a low-key introvert. I should be at home painting. So I know these things and I try to, as I grow, immediately delegate these tasks to people that can do them better than me, you know? So that helped me a lot. And I would say it cut off like 10 years of me trying to discover it myself, because you're talking and, you know, some people knock down psychology or they think you're only going there for a certain kind of crisis. And also there are a lot of bad psychologists out there, which have kind of, I think,
ruined things.
dented the reputation of the profession. But these are professionals that look at science and they look at you from a scientific perspective and they understand that, you know, there are certain capabilities and certain kind of structures that each person has, and they need a certain customized approach to how they live life, have relationships, and perform in general.
Yeah. You mentioned also delegating tasks to people around you. How did you find those people, and how do you build so much trust? Because you're handing over a part of your business, a part of your expression to another person.
First thing is like, I have to like you, you know?
That helps.
Yeah.
That definitely helps.
No, I have to know that when you say something, you will do it. And I don't care if all you do for me is, it doesn't matter the volume of delivery, right? If all you say to me is, Ray, I just want to deliver you a coffee every day. And you do that, I'm more than happy to have you do that. Then come around telling me, yo, I'm going to like connect you with Drake. And then like, I'm going to like get you like $1 million gig.
Right.
And then all you can do for me is the coffee.
Yeah, barely.
Like I always pay attention to the gap between the words and the actions. If the words and the actions meet, I believe that's a good person, you know?
Deliverables.
Yeah. And obviously like, things like integrity, loyalty, like that's foundation, you know? And, I really pay attention to what I need. Like, what do I want? What do I need? You know, because I want to make sure that whoever I put, wherever I put them, like they're doing the exact thing that I lack in that will help me grow, right? So And don't mix friendships with business. You know, that's very important. If you have a friend you can do business with, that's amazing. Like, that's like a super bonus, you know? But don't expect people from your casual part of your life to be a high delivery, like, person on your professional side, right? So if you put people in the right places, then things go smoothly, you know?
And it sounds like what you're also saying is like trusting your first instincts, right? Like, even though they're your friend and you really, really like them, if they're saying, I can only deliver this thing, trust them with that thing wholeheartedly too, right?
Yeah.
Allow them to come through on that deliverable.
Right. And if you see that they're not delivering, you know, like, you need to be open to having a conversation, like, be very comfortable with having a conversation with them. And you need to also be and sometimes they understand and they improve. And honestly, no one's perfect. It's about how you make up for it. You know, I have talks with my right-hand man all the time, you know, hey, like, we were off on this, or, you know, this wasn't delivered the way that we want to be experienced by others. And the reason why I have him around is because he says, hey, honestly, my bad. Like, let's do it better, you know?
Fix it for the next time.
But if they're not taking that if they're taking that kind of criticism in a way where, like, they're interpreting it as a put down, you know, and it's like, I can't work with you because I'm trying to grow. People talk to me like that. You know, when somebody's unhappy around me, I'm like, hey, I'm just wondering, like, what's, you know, how could I do better? You know? Mm-hmm. I would rather learn because that makes me more powerful. Mm-hmm. You know, I'd rather get told what you're unhappy about because that's power. Like, now I know how to get there, right? But if I'm not listening, I'm going to be walking in circles. Yeah.
And probably doing the same mistakes over and over again, having the same tension over and over again.
And I need help to continue breaking orbit. You know, I don't want to be in the same circle all the time, right? So I always appreciate, like, people telling me the truth.
Yeah. Working, I think, within a team is really vulnerable because you do need to build strong relationships, right? But when it is your expression that's going out there, you also need to be in charge. So I can understand how kind of building those boundaries with people is important for them, but also allows them to grow as well because you're working together for a common goal. Like, it has to be very, very clear where deliverables are, but also having that background relationship, that trust has to be built there too.
Right.
So do you have any kind of maybe tips that you've learned for kind of reading people and maybe, just like reading people that you're bringing onto your team?
Number one, don't rush.
Okay.
Yeah, don't fall in love. I don't mean romantically. I mean like, and romantically too, but like,
sure.
Yeah. Your life can get ruined if you're, you know, around certain circles. So, don't fall in love with, like, the idea that this person is going to be perfect for you, right?
Okay.
Make sure you pay attention to their patterns from the smallest detail, you know? How they carry themselves, how they treat others, how do they do emotionally during pressure. Like, put people, everyone around me is on probation. Like, I always pay attention to their behavior and I make sure that they're up to par. That's the main thing. Like, I'd say just watch people's patterns carefully and learn to read patterns. I can't teach you that in, like, obviously one podcast. It's a whole class of its own. But
do you have any tools that you use to maintain yourself so that when you're holding people accountable, putting that mirror up to yourself, what tools do you use to hold that mirror up to you? Do you use meditation? Do you read? Do you jog in place? Like, is there anything that you do to, like, get your day going or keep you grounded throughout your day?
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. What you're saying. I look at things from an artistic view.
Okay.
And when I start my day, I look at it like a painting. And I envision it. I envision the end of the day as a finished painting. And everything that I'm more of a visionary thinker. I'm a visual person, right? So when I start the day, I need the gap to think for myself with clarity. I could do a meditation, mostly I just bump the music and I just like, you know, kind of just start my day in a good momentum, you know. During the day I have gaps where I recenter myself, you know, I just make sure like I'm always thinking what's working for me, because you could get distracted by a lot of things and a lot of thoughts and a lot of ideas. And yeah, I would say mainly like I just make sure that I'm always primed, you know?
I want to bring it back to what you said before about thinking back like 2 to 3 days of what you did to get yourself in the good groove that you're in. Like that's like, just as you're speaking, that kind of stood out to me a little bit, that you're, I guess, always reflecting back on your past behaviors that put you back into this situation.
Right. It's like, who was I around? Who was I around that made me feel inspired, that now I feel like painting? Or what was I around? You know what I mean? What did I eat? You know, sometimes if you eat garbage, like you're not going to feel good, right? And if you don't feel good, it's very hard to be creative, because creativity is very attached to emotion. Whereas mechanical work, like let's say you work cashier or you work at a whatever factory, or even if you work at the bank, the procedures are mechanical. They don't need heavy critical thinking. They need you to execute them at the fastest, most efficient way possible, right?
And I would say the social interactions do, though, right? Those interactions, because it is such a repetitive thing that you're doing. Sometimes the social interactions for that same task over and over again can be really like draining. So just as you're saying, I thought about times in my life where I felt like I got home at the end of the day and I was like, zoop, like everything just kind of like sat. And like, oh, what just happened? Like my whole entire week, like, was I even here? Did I go to work? Like, did I get anything done? Because you get so caught up in getting so many things done throughout your day. So just what you said is just a really good note for me, really. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. That just to remember to like reflect, right? Even in, you have your morning routines, but even sitting back and thinking back a couple of days, right?
And it's like, and if you have days when you're down and you track back and you realize, hey, XYZ happened, just like you just learn to be at peace with it and have the toolkit to recover, you know? It's such as life. Like not every day you wake up perfect.
So I've been thinking about my toolkit recently, and I realized that it's the same tools that I'm using, right? But I think what they're working on and focusing on is becoming really different. I think especially because we've been in this pandemic for the last like 2 years or however long. Yeah, 2?
Yeah, it's been like 2 years.
About 2 or 3 years. We've all had to go through a major adjustment.
Right.
So I've been thinking about how am I using the same tools, right? Over and over again, but what is it doing for me now? And I think I've had to kind of shake out of my old routines, even let go some of those routines that I've had to kind of find what else is out there, right? I think there's times we can hold on to a lot of things, and it might be even like friends, family, close business associates, right? That we've been doing the same thing, right? Having the same results over and over again. And they might be mediocre results. So you don't even realize that they're, not up to par anymore. So I think entrepreneurs can be really friendly people. Creatives can be really friendly people who want to learn, who want to network. Do you have any experiences with maybe how popularity has influenced your work in like a bad way? So any experiences or stories that you may have?
I mean, the thing is, like, I always say this, like, I'm like, I have, my growing has been like, my following has grown, and especially because I travel, I've like created different communities in different places that support me. But the thing is, like, I'm not, I'd say the foundation of building that following is that you need to be respected first, and I don't mind being appreciated or respected, like people don't, people don't just follow me because I'm famous, because, I don't know, some celebrity mentioned me somewhere, they actually like me because of my art, and they like me because of my story, like how we met. And, you know, years will pass, and like we'll always remember like where things started, right? So, I mean, for me, I appreciate it, but I can understand how things could get really messy if you begin to affiliate with the wrong people, you know? And, you know, some people are out there, some people are like tigers, you know, they're good to enjoy from a distance, but you shouldn't bring them close to you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be careful with spotting out who the tigers are, and don't get close to them, you know? Make sure your core circle stays the same. If you look at some of the most successful celebrities in the world, their core circle remains consistent for a long time because that's their wall, you know?
Yeah.
And then they navigate with that as a vehicle, you know? So I've had some close calls with getting too close to some people, and, you know, they could have affected my business, but, you know, you just recenter and you make sure everything's good, you know, like that's it. You live, you learn, and make sure you learn your warnings early, and you don't keep going recklessly, you know?
And I can see it. I can see that you've been through some trials, and that you learned a lot. And so when we reconnected, I had recently gone through some moments like that where oversharing, not understanding my own boundaries have like got me caught up and completely off focus. So I really appreciate you sharing these things, because I don't think a lot of people who are, whether they're popular or they have a big social media presence or they're creating some kind of movement within the city, we don't get to hear about those vulnerable stories behind the scenes, right? Sometimes you just kind of see a big team, right? Or you just see one sole person, right? And you don't get to hear about how they're recovering from all these like in between things that are happening behind the scenes. But it is also good to hear that it's possible, right? That having a core team around you. And from what I'm hearing, you're saying that it does come with the growth of it, being accountable for your words, but also allowing people to be there for you and trust them. It's good to hear that it's definitely possible.
100%. Honestly, like we're all students of we're all students of life, you know? No matter what age, like, and if you don't want to be a student of life, then I don't want to be around you, you know? Like, but it doesn't matter what level you're at, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to learn, you know? And you need to see those mistakes as invitations to learn new things. And, you know, just get used to pivoting and readjusting, because that's what the world does every day. So you got to stay with it, right?
Thank you very much for sharing your insights and your very personal experiences. Thank you very, very much. We do something here. I do have maybe a couple more questions. We do something here where we do ask for like a couple of words, an affirmation, a mantra that you would like to use. And because of, you know, you do art. We figured let's put it in the medium that you know how to do it. So let's just take a couple of moments, right? We'll keep recording, we'll keep the audio on, but we'll take a couple of moments for you to just do your thing and share a little bit of an affirmation on the canvas. Right. And then we'll do our closing. All right.
Oh, I got to get the marker.
The no free promo for Tim Hortons. Is that what's going on? No free promo for Tim Hortons.
Was it another shot?
Yeah, he moved it. He did.
Oh, sick.
He moved it.
All right, so what's the tradition? How do you guys do this?
So far, it's just been whatever kind of comes to you. Whatever couple words that maybe you've used before. So I sometimes use like affirmations or mantras. Sometimes for me, it's like listing gratitude, or maybe a verse or a Bible verse that I read that day. Whatever kind of works for you to write down.
I've been a lot on the tip of like enjoyment, because I've really learned one of the most important things especially with my career that has a lot of twists and turns, is to learn to enjoy the process. Because if you don't, you're gonna be constantly in a mind of danger, and it's not healthy for you, you know, and your performance gets affected, your health gets affected. So I've really learned to like, you know, because you also asked about meditation, right? Instead of like just doing, I used to do like hour-long meditations every morning. I used to go to like
an hour.
Yeah, I used to go to.
Whoa.
I used to go to.
That's a long time.
I used to go to 8-hour meditation retreats on weekends. Yeah, but I realized that after all, are we? I get. Is this
Yeah,
being recorded?
we never start recording.
Yeah. I realized that it was great for clarity, but the thing is, if you're still gonna walk into the life you've curated for yourself, and if it's not a healthy environment, you're gonna go back to your anxieties and your fears, right? So now what I'm focused on more is like, instead of meditating for an hour a day, I learned to just enjoy certain parts of my day. So I enjoy my walk here. I enjoy doing this, right? And by those gaps of enjoyments, those are like meditative moments that are more consistent, you know? So I guess I want to write like, enjoy the journey. Does that sit well with me? Yeah.
You take your time, think about it. Whatever comes to you.
Let me see.
I remember there was I've never done an hour-long meditation. Let me make that very, very clear. That sounds like a very long time.
Yeah, I was down bad, you know?
That was a very long time. I'm more like a 5-minute kind of meditation kind of person. And usually that's with like, you know, a cigarette or a beverage.
Sick.
I'm you know, I don't know if I can sit for that long.
No,
I hear with you.
By the way, like the kinds that I did were they're called active meditations. So it's the way you get into the trance is through movement. And, and then the sitting, so they're designed for people who, most people now, we already sit too much. So they were designed for, you know, somebody with a passive lifestyle that needed some movement, right?
Okay, so movement to the meditation.
Yeah, so it'd be like, and they're structured. Like there's like ones that are like jumping for like 20 minutes and then humming for another 20. And then, you know
I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean.
Like, no, I'm not going to sit there and just, in
a full prayer pose.
That is not happening.
What happened? Smudge?
No. I mean the sitting in a prayer pose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I've never gotten there.
Yeah, just mad.
3,000.
Yeah. Get into it. Which is really sad because I used to teach yoga, considering.
Yeah.
But I always said I was a pretty loose yoga teacher. I'm still gonna cigarette and eat a burger before this yoga class. Like,
that's
I'm the
right.
wrong one.
Yeah, this is reality.
I am the wrong one. I am a city yoga teacher.
That's right. No, people want the truth, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, all right, so should I start?
Yes, whenever you're ready. And what's his name? Director X recently shared a like a call out for people to do meditations.
Oh, the Operation Frontal Cortex, or I forgot what it's called.
Operational prefrontal cortex.
You mean like to have like people that are instructors?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, just like a call out, really, just asking people to submit, to apply. So I think it's a series that he wants to do.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like an ongoing series.
marker's hurting. Here we go. So basically, like, first of all, I'm a lefty. So the reason why I'm drawing it this way, like I'm writing in Joy, right? But the reason why I'm writing it this way is because I've always smudged if I go this way. Mm-hmm. So every time I do my calligraphy, it's either backwards or downwards. It's never, it's never like this because then I'll smudge
you're
it.
left-handed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So most of these lines, I'd have to overlap them again because this marker, like every tool is different, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the other thing.
Do you need like a clean piece of paper to clean the pen?
If you, sure, that'd be awesome. I just needed to...
just to clean up.
Yeah, I need to dip the pen somewhere. Like, it's cool because every tool is different, and it's like, I kind of see them like people, you know? Like, they have certain capabilities, right? So it's like, this one is cool for lettering on this canvas, right? But I can't use this on a wall because it's too small. Like, I'd be there all day trying to get it, like, fill something in, you know?
What about graffiti?
I started with graffiti. Like, graffiti was like my first... Graffiti was my first passion. Yeah, because all the colors, like, it has so much freedom, right? Like, colors, letters, you can do characters.
Are you going to tell us your graffiti name? Or? You tell us your tag name? Or is that a secret?
I don't know about that.
Real tiger.
I just, you got to live that double life. Do this fancy stuff on the side so they know.
Mm-hmm.
No, but what really inspired me to pursue art was, when I watched like big name graffiti artists. Canada has some of the best graffiti artists in the world. And, when I watch guys like Quest, Bacon, just to mention a few names, like they're doing commercial stuff. Like they're taking, instead of just like doing street stuff, like they were like merging with big brands and like doing crazy gigs, with like high profile clients. And I was like, that's the most gangster thing I've ever seen. Like they literally took the streets to the boardroom, and they kept their authenticity, and I was like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's why I went to university, because I'm like, how do I improve my vocabulary and my education so that I can integrate myself in professional spaces while still like
maintaining yourself,
maintaining my integrity and my creativity, right?
And someone else will tell you what to do instead. If you don't want to learn it for yourself.
Like
someone else will dictate it.
You can become like a subpar artist, or and I'm not saying school is be all end all. Like,
yeah, of course.
I don't think any of these guys that I mentioned fully went to like university. Not that I, or maybe they did, but not that I know of. Mm-hmm. But it's not the main purpose. School was just one avenue for me. Specifically, also, I just wanted my parents to be happy. So, calligraphy is actually easy. It looks complicated, but the rules are like very simple. Like once you get certain things, you just keep doing them, and the rest is just repetition,
I never doing calligraphy in grade 5. It's calligraphy in French class.
Oh, in French?
Extracurricular kind of kid. Trust me. Definitely.
You were learning French in calligraphy?
No, well, you go to like extracurricular French classes, and then extracurricular calligraphy. Yeah. No, but they were separate.
I failed French.
Really?
Yeah, actually, honestly, that's another thing. I'm just not a book learner, But if I hang out in Montreal for a month, I'll pick it up.
That's
right?
what helped me. And this is like as a child, mind you. Like I would listen to whatever station it was that used to play French, right, with the subtitles, and learn it that way. I went from a 60-something% to an 80%.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
So, is this like cursive?
Yeah. This is cursive. But and then these things, like the decor around it that I do, those are called flourishes. So, back, like when calligraphy really became, like I'm talking cursive calligraphy really became established, it was called business script. So
Okay.
if you were a real businessman, you would write your contracts like this. And then eventually they started evolving into like, I'm a businessman. Why should I learn how to write beautifully? So then they would hire people to do it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand what you mean.
Yeah. But it was first called business script, which is crazy. You know, it's like, think about how times have changed where now like certain successful people we know like don't even write, like don't even print,
Yeah,
you know?
they type or they audio it out.
Yeah,
Suck
yeah.
it out.
So
Because they took cursive out of school. I don't think they learn cursive in school anymore.
no.
But I remember learning that it was again really like repetition. They would play, you make like a little cloud over and over again. They play some nice piano music.
It's very like soothing for me,
It is.
at least, because I'm chaotic, but also a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Like this is like I didn't plan it. It's all over the place, but like it's executed. It's executed well. You know what I'm saying? I'm like it needs to look clean. You know, so.
I was gonna ask, when you write notes and stuff, do you put scribbles?
Terrible. My note writing is like it's like doctor's notes.
Yeah.
Like I'm patient with this, right?
Yeah.
It's a different mind state. Whereas you're taking notes, I'm listening to gather information, so it's functional. I'm just trying to get
the
what you
information
said
down.
on paper, so I don't forget it. Right?
Do you doodle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. On everything. You know how many textbooks I had to pay for in high school because I would
returning the math quest with the calligraphy
Yeah.
on it.
I want to know where those books are now. They probably cost more because of my doodles.
If you're lucky, they still have them.
eBay.
It's gone. It's already up there. Excuse.
I wonder what happened to that. There was like this girl who was in high school and she posted that she found a book that Drake signed. It was like a history textbook from like Forest Hill or whatever,
Okay.
wherever Drake went.
Mhm.
I wonder what happened to that book. I bet like people fought for it and it's like probably worth a lot now.
Found his old school textbook.
You know, you sign your textbooks.
Yeah.
So it was like, it said like Aubrey Graham.
Yeah, and then you put your grade
And your grade and your year,
which
yeah.
teacher,
So she found a book that Drake signed like long time.
Okay.
Yeah, when he was in high school, you know?
That's pretty cool.
I wonder like
But
what
she has to
happened.
return it to the school. They're not free.
Huh?
She has to return it to the school. The school has it.
Yeah. I would have pocketed it and just paid the $40 for them to buy a new one and said nothing.
It was 60 back in my day. I lost many textbooks.
Yeah? Okay, yeah. Yeah. It's 40 to 60, that's right.
Big money.
Almost done.
Yeah, of course, take your time. I'm trying to say something.
The other difference between like a professional artist and a passion, like a what is it called, hobby artist.
Mhm.
One of the most important things is to be able to gauge how long things take. For example, like if you gave me this canvas, I could start something really complicated and then be like, oh my God, like I don't know how to finish it. I need to think about it. I need like, you know what I mean? And I could be here all day. But it's like, you need to be able to say, all right, well, what can I do in 5 minutes?
Mhm.
That looks good. You know what I'm saying? So like, this is like, and that's very important because you could waste a lot of time in a lot of places. starting something that
and not charge people accordingly.
exactly starting something that you can't finish, right? You can't finish within the bracket of time.
What is your big vision picture then for the work that you're doing?
I want to get into like, I just want to use technology more. And
Okay.
yeah, I want to use it to like, you know, now you can create sculptures with like 3D printing and like, you know, you can fully hire a team to build a giant sculpture for you. You know, you don't need to build it yourself.
Do you mean like virtual art or?
Like you make it virtually and
Yeah.
then you can like literally make it in real life with a
Okay.
team. Yeah. So I want to think of different places that are more impactful. And that's my next step, you know? So, and I'm not going to learn the 3D programs. I'm talking to some 3D artists that can convert my work into that kind of space. And at that point, you just step more into a director role, you know?
So that would be the goal, just to kind of still create art, but have a bunch of these like people who know what to do. Then you can always continue to explore, expand your art.
You become like more of a composer and a conductor.
Yeah.
You know, you become like, okay, the ultimate place is like guys like DJ Khaled, where like they would just put a bunch of people in the studio and like put the song together, or like you know, all these big producers, they buy parts of the beat, they buy parts of the song, and then they just kind of
Meld everything.
Yeah, and it's like they're orchestrators. And that's where I want to be, because at that level, you can make much bigger impacts, you know? Because you have more people on board, you have more arms, you have more brains putting effort into something, you know? And I'm always going to draw by hand. Like, it's, this is not going anywhere, you know? But I'm just thinking, like, how can I expand my impact in society and in many other avenues? All right, I think I'm done.
Let's see. Enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, let me take that. I'll take the pen.
Leave the pen so they know I drew it.
Okay, that's approved. Yeah, that looks really good.
It's a quick thing. Like, if I really wanted to like make it super crisp, like I'll just keep like making these lines like clean.
Mhm.
But that's like another hour, you
Continue
know?
building on it,
So
building on
yeah,
it.
there's always a point where you got to say it's good enough, you know? Is it good enough for the gram? And then we're happy. That's it. It's all about the hearts and likes.
Looks good. Enjoy the journey.
That's right.
Thank you so much. Can I see? I want to sit down
Yeah,
and
yeah.
hold it. Sorry.
Go ahead.
That's not good.
It's yours now.
Sorry.
Still recording. Still recording.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you very much for coming out today.
Thank you for having me.
Can you share and let us know where you want to be found and where you want to be found?
My website, www.medeio.art. It's spelled MEDEIO.art. Instagram, it's _Medeio_. I mean, through those, you can find all the other avenues to get at me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Go check him out on the website, the Instagram.
That's right. And honestly, just, you know, keep an eye on what I'm doing, because like all kinds of different things are going to happen. And
Spill. Let's hear it. What is it? Let's hear it.
well, I'm getting more into like public art and things like that. So just keep an eye on my stuff on the streets. I always appreciate it when people take photos and share it, you know? And yeah, much love.
Thank you so much again. That's it.
We done.
That's it.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.